Hey everybody, what's going on? Stephen Tenner here at Tenner Talk, where we speak truth and from the heart. We are on the Grassroots Warrior Network. My first live here. It's Monday night, 8 Eastern. We had a great marathon yesterday. I'm going to multitask right in the beginning of this. Don't go anywhere. We got some amazing stuff, amazing testimonies with my 88-year-old dad that I've been treating with frequency for a few months. Really great stuff. So I'm just double checking that we're live on YouTube and Facebook. How's everyone doing tonight? Did you have a good time yesterday? It looks like we're live in fantastic. It looks like we're live on YouTube because I'm streaming over to the Tenor Talk channels too from the Grassroots Warrior Network. We're just getting this started, everybody. It's so exciting. Congratulations to everyone that won prizes yesterday, silver and merchandise and weapons and stuff. So cool. We're going to have an amazing show. This is going to be a short one. So please hang around because I want to show you how to take your power back, because ultimately it's us that has the power to do everything. We just have devices and certain things that are helping us tap into our power. I know that sounds so simple, but it is. It really is that simple. The devil made everything complicated. Okay, and I have Sophia possibly coming in here. We'll see. She's working on the RFK campaign, so she's very busy, but I hope she texts me back. And I'm just going to share this link, these two links, on all of our social media right here, and then we're going to just jump right in and get started, everybody. If you're listening on YouTube or Rumble, if you could leave a message down there that you hear and see everything 5x5, that would be really, really cool. I really appreciate that. So let's get this out over here. Okay. All right. So that is the YouTube. Let me go get the Rumble. Let me go get the Rumble channel. Wow, this is so exciting, everyone. The technology thing here we're doing. Yesterday was a really great day. I'm really in the presence of so many amazing truthers and warriors. I really am. What a blessing. So thank you. Thank you to Kevin and the team at the Grassroots Warrior Network for having me. It's really incredible. So it doesn't look like it's live on the Rumble, but that's okay. We're live on everything else. So let's get going, everybody. What's happening? So I have a little frequency device here called the Healy. Right now on that Healy, I am sending frequency. Can you see it? That's really happening. That's frequency that's being sent through the field. I don't mind calling it the God field, the creator field, because that's what everything is. He gave us everything. And I'm sending that frequency right now to my dad, who's 5 miles from here. It doesn't matter if he's 5,000 miles from here or if he's on the other side of the world. It doesn't matter. And this is how many people, without even having this device in their possession, are healing. Okay. I think I got a text from Sophia there. Let me see. Okay. She's going to try to come in shortly. That's cool. I did a show a week or two ago with Derek Johnson. Shout out to my boy Derek Johnson, who eloquently breaks down the global military operation that's going on. That's for another day. That's for another show. I can red pill and truther with the best of them. And this is a different type of show. Guys, we're on the Grassroots Warrior Network, right? Tenor Talk. I always speak about, I got great videos. I captured the fake inauguration that was filmed in a Hollywood studio, all of those things. But I really God has shifted me on my journey into healing, and people that I respect very highly in this movement, they're now calling me like a healer. That doesn't mean anything, but I wear that proudly because everybody that we got involved with this device has changed their lives. And when I did the show with Derek, I didn't have enough time. I couldn't get my dad back to the home. I had him out for the day, and he got to say hello to Derek. And I spoke briefly about how I was working with my dad with healing frequencies and such. And people wanted to know about the frequency and everything. They're like, Tenor, how do you, what's going on? What is this? Please tell us about it. And so I had to I had to help my friend who's an amazing web designer. I had to have her help me build a website because there was so much information, and it's right there on the bottom of the screen. If you could read it, healingtheworld.love. We've got a couple of amazing testimonial videos on there from people that their lives have changed from no longer suffering with asthma or 90% gone. Um, we have a friend who was on oxygen for 4 years, was in a coma, and she's about 80, 90% off of her oxygen. She doesn't wear it during the day. And Sophia did pop in. I'm just going to finish this thought and then we'll bring her in and say hello. You know Sophia Eric from the Grassroots Warrior Network as well. She has a show on Mondays. And Karen is off her oxygen like 80% of the time. I think she wears it when she sleeps, and I think that's all because it's just still in here. I think it's just still in the head, right? When you're doing something for 4 years. I'm experiencing a lot of that with my dad. He's 88, right? They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you can. You can. And so and I'm gonna go in the greatest detail tonight with my dad, and I want you to stick around because I was on the road for about 17 months traveling the country back and forth. God saved my life on September 10th, my birthday in 21, and I wound up down in Dallas, and then I wound up traveling around the country, and I wound up painting my RV. Just so you guys know, it's the Mystery Machine, and he sent me back home in February after about 60,000 miles in 17 months. And I was just sent back to start to take care of my dad. I said, I have to go take care of my dad, someone very important to me that I think is extremely important figure in this biblical movement that we're all experiencing together. He sent me home and said, you gotta take care of your dad. And so I'm here with my family. I helped my sister. I'm helping a niece of mine with other things. Helped myself. Sophia, the person that's responsible for bringing this to me when the RV fell on my leg and crushed me out of the blue. We were supposed to meet about her mentorship thing that she's working on, and she sprung into action and said, I have to send you healing frequency when I told her that the RV was on my leg. That's the kind of person she is. We didn't even have our meeting. She forgot all about it. She could care less about that. And she sprung into action with her big heart. And so our journey started, and we started working together, a dynamic team. We have a beautiful team of people that have this device, and every single one changed their lives. And the amazing thing is you can try it out for free for 2 weeks and send it back if you don't find anything. But I have to give you the bad news. Only one person sent it back because they were impatient and they didn't listen to us, and they didn't wait for us to tell them about the deals, and they didn't get the amazing deal that all the other people got, and they got frustrated and they sent the device back. And so now they're just sitting in and suffering, I guess, because they needed it, right? It's terrible. It's terrible what happened, but that's the only person that sent it back. They didn't even open the box. So everyone else has this and their lives have changed. And there's many more testimonials, but the three on the website, healingtheworld.love, is my sister. It's a couple of minute video of her talking about how she's no longer sucking a nebulizer machine each day and sucking on her inhaler little bit here and there when she went away and she was exposed to smoke and the fires that were just here. That's bad on the lungs for people. So understandable as this is new, but it really made a major impact on our life. And so many people we'll call in our tribe, mostly all women, beautiful women. I'm surrounded by strong, powerful women, and we're all helping each other. We have other platforms, Telegram and Facebook, and we have groups, and we answer questions, and we make suggestions, and there's other groups with 80,000 people in them where you can go for answers if you can't get one of us. And we're building this beautiful community, and I think that's a perfect time to bring Sophia in right now. What's up, lady?
Hi. Oh, wow. I'm so low.
What's going on?
Low but high.
When I'm telling you, it's an exciting time. I think you've been listening for a few minutes. Thank you for doing what you do, and we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here speaking about this had you not just sprung into action to send me healing frequency. And I'm saying again, I don't want anyone to go anywhere. We won't be here long. I'm not even going to stream the two short videos with the Tesla technology and the Rife, and the God field, the quantum field, and how this works, because those videos are there. And you know what? There's no more sitting on the couch and being lazy. Like, if you want to change your life and you want to take your power, unfortunately, like, you have to do something. And the first thing would like be click on something, watch a few videos. You don't even have to get off the couch for that one, right, Sophia? So people have to help themselves, like, hence take your power back. So you have to want to take your power back. You have to want to make a change in your life. I'm going to be 55, Sophia, and I've never been in the best shape of my life. I got a little ear thing going on, so I'm running ear harmony right now in digital mixtures, and I'm sure I'll be back to 1,000 in
And
a
throat
second.
chakra.
Huh?
Throat chakra.
Do the throat too. I'll do that after. I
My
just
son had an ear infection and it was gone in a day. I just ran the throat chakra, nothing else.
Are you kidding me?
It
Wow.
might it might help.
See, folks, like, these are the suggestions that you get, like, in the team. Once you get this, or even if you're interested, like, we put you into movie into the other groups, the Telegram groups. We have, again, all women in there answering questions, making phone calls, helping people get hooked up. It's really beautiful. But don't go anywhere, folks, because for the first time, I'm getting in detail. I made the list of, I got my father off 3/4 of this page
Oh.
of his petroleum based pharmaceuticals that were slowly murdering him. And I throw out small videos here and there, Sophia. You see them mainly in the Telegram group. I've been chronicling the journey with videos and photos, and I've been secretly recording some of the corrupt. I've God made me take on the medical industry as well. You wouldn't believe the corruption. I won't share that tonight. I might touch on one or two things just so people know that you have to be on top of your medicines, your health, and especially for your loved ones, if they can't do it by themselves, if they've just been under the trust and the mercy of the medical industry, and they think that everything that they're doing for them is helping them. I can prove that these people were slowly murdering my father. That's why God kind of sent me here. It wasn't just to get him off the meds. And also, just jumping, what the Healy did, this doesn't just take away pain and ailments and diabetes, and all of these things, FDA approved, right, for anxiety, pain, and all of these things. But they won't approve it for all the other stuff because they don't want you to know about that stuff, because they want to keep
Well,
you
it's
on
very far
meds,
advanced.
right? It's very far
And
advanced.
the FDA is not. Sorry.
Exactly. Well, the FDA is in the pocket of the corruption. I'm even shocked that this thing was even able to get some kind of notice from the FDA, because
Yeah.
you don't have to take pain meds anymore. I mean, my father is off every single pain med, and I'm going to get into that detail. So I don't want anyone to go anywhere. This is factual. I've chronicled it. You know it, Sophia. The people that know me know my dad. He just turned 88 May 22nd. Okay. I started this the
Oh.
first or second week in February, right? Now he's 88. Now you're going to get better results, obviously, if you're younger. And my dad doesn't so much know what's going on. And that's why, if you know what's going on, if you believe, if you have faith, if you want to take your power back and you want to learn how to tap into that, because all this device is, and I say this all the time, not just trying to sell something, all this device is, and even Ken Close, one of the top dogs for the company, will tell you that this is a bridge. This med bed in a pocket, that's what they call it. This is a bridge between you and the power field that has been given to each and every one of us. And I am going to share my manifesting story that's going along with this, because I believe my manifesting along with this device is helping to cure my eyesight. My glasses are over here. You know that, Sophia, when I first started, I wouldn't be able to see the studio here to put the things in like this, like take out the website, put it back in. I had to wear these glasses, folks. I still wear them only for like really fine stuff, like on like the hidden ingredients that are killing you on the back of your foods that you buy. You know, that you need like a magnifying glass. I think people with 20/20 have a hard time seeing that. That's when I have to wear my glasses. But this device and me manifesting and taking my power, and I can't do it all the time, Sophia, because the devil has clouded our minds with so much junk, right? We have a short attention span to like sit and be quiet and meditate. I don't want to call it meditate because it's not, but that to get into that quiet space and turn the world off and turn the devil off, you have to manifest and tap in. You have to tap your brain and marry it with your heart. Like Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton.
Mhm.
That's the video that got me off and running. That stuff is true. 12-minute video. I'm going to share that because I actually want to start Frequency Fridays, Sophia. I don't know if I'll do it
I
live
love
on
it.
Rumble first or YouTube. I might do it in the Telegram channel first just to get a test and to help do what Greg was trying to do, because that has been real forever. We just couldn't believe it. But
Mhm.
now, as the devil's being defeated and the matrix veil is being lifted, and you see more and more of the truth unfolding,
Mhm.
nothing can stop what is coming. So, this, I want everyone to know that this is real, but we won't need this device or any device in the future. I don't know how long it's going to take to get into that comfortable space, right? Where we can just sit down and say, hey, Sophia, you and I, right? When we learn how to do this, why don't we get on a live like now? Like, let's say, just like a test of a Frequency Friday, we put the beautiful music on to
Mhm.
relax us. We breathe and we just go into that grateful space, because you have to go and get it. You have to manifest it. And what's beautiful with this, which I know you're going to touch on, is you can put affirmations in here, and this can help you with those manifestations, and they
Mhm.
work. And I'll let you talk now right after this last thing. The reason that I was be able to come home and have a different heart towards my father, and I tell truth and from the heart. My father was a real prick when we were younger. My sister will tell you that too. um, and my mother's deathbed words were, "Take care of your father." And they weren't together at the time. They came together at the end when they murdered her with cancer and everything with chemotherapy. They came together, and it was beautiful how love can come together in the end. But I only did the bare minimum in an emergency situation for my dad because I was carrying that baggage, right? And we spoke about this.
Mhm.
This device not only is going to give you the frequency to get rid of your pain, which it completely got rid of all of my father's pain. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to get in detail with that. This is real, people. But it allowed me to treat myself with frequencies with like creative homeopathy and psyche and the Bach flowers, which are a mental state, which this thing can do an aura reading of your body. And this thing can go back and tell you about your ancestral baggage. And that's what happened to me in real time. And I saw what I was carrying, and I treated myself, which opened my heart, which allowed me to forgive my father, which allowed me to come home and love him and want to do everything that I can to save and extend his life. That's the difference. This device did that for me as well. Well, this device didn't do it. This device tapped me into pulling from that
Realignment.
it aligned me. All
Mhm.
right. I want people to know it's not this device. Does that sound like
Mhm.
someone that's trying to sell something? I don't think so. But this device is helping me and all of our team to change their lives. I just put Tina's testimony up there too. She had anxiety, which leads to some other neurological disorder.
Mhm.
Tina's one of the biggest and most beautiful, and she didn't even have the device. You treated her, Sophia, from New York, like this,
Mhm. Yep.
and she was in
It was
Pennsylvania,
like a miracle.
and you changed her life with frequency, and she didn't even have this yet, right?
Mhm.
So um tell your story. You were bleeding, what was that called, from the hands, and you completely, I mean, and this thing is keeping your train on the track right now, right?
Yeah,
Because
this
the
was not a
RFK,
beautiful Jesus hand
i'm
bleeding story. This
i'm
was
gonna
nothing.
I'm going to give you the floor right now. Please tell people, how you got started, your story, and thank you.
Well, thank you for having me on. I started my journey with specifically my suffering when I almost had a complete burnout. I was working too hard. I was 2008 and I literally crashed into a wall and I put myself in what was it? It was like, where do you go in those wellness institutes? And I said, I need to calm down and I need to not look at my phone. And if I don't do this, I'm literally going to have like a complete burnout. And I know what that means. I had never had one yet, but, anyways, so I consciously went through that process. I couldn't put my phone down, but I really was able to um, kind of calm down. And then from that point on, I went back home and then I continued to like just remanage everything in my life to make sure that I was not continuing down that path. But something strange happened, which was kind of like a sequence to other things following from that. I think at that point I hit a wall that didn't complete where I something happened to me that didn't completely repair, and that was nervous system was impacted, and I started to get really strange symptoms like skin issues, things like that. And at one point, I learned, okay, this is eczema. I didn't know what it was. So fast forward to was it 2021? I ended up at in a doctor's practice, and this was a fantastic doctor. He's Russian, and he was famous for people coming from all kinds of countries. He was famous for keeping people healthy, so they wouldn't get sick. And I'm like, well, that sounds like a good thing. So he did bioresonance analysis with me, which I already knew about it. This is basically the mother company of Healy. So I had encountered that 2016, and they did a whole analysis. But what was so funny, and what nobody told me back then, because there were three experts who did with four machines and did scans on me. All of them had the same results. Um, None of them said we can treat you, and it's easy. So I kept on suffering from 2016 to 2021. This was in Germany. And the doctor had this little device. I have it like on my on my pants here. This little device on his desk, and I'm like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's new. It's the Healy." And I'm like, "Oh, really? What does it do?" And he says, "It's a quantum device. It heals with frequencies. Basically, it's a little version of my computer I have on my desk." And but this was 3 months, no, this was 1.5 months after I had visited him the first time, and I went into this period of just changing, changing diet. And anyways, I could. This whole story is very long. I'm trying to make it compact. But he had kick-started my system into basically a state of healing based on the analysis, but it was going very, very slow. Um, so I had done everything under the sun, moon, and stars to get rid of my eczema. It was so bad. I had patches. I had stopped at that point of doing lives like this. I couldn't anymore. I looked like an old woman. My whole skin was impaired. I had blotches on my body. My hands were so severe. If you see a photo, I was bleeding from the inside of my hands, and I couldn't work with the mouse part of the time. That hadn't got better, even though I was working with him for those 1.5 months. So I'm like, okay, this is really fascinating. I don't know. For some reason, I felt so extremely attracted to understanding more about the Healy. It's like an intuitive thing. I ran the Healy in his practice. I remember for 14 minutes, because that's all I had, because my son was he was treating my son, and we left. I remember I ran energy. I go home, and I think it was 14 minutes, and I worked for 6 hours straight. And mind you, I was completely de-energized, and I was suffering with my hands, but I don't know where it came from. I was completely energized. And I looked back after those 6 hours, my desk was clean. I had done things that I hadn't done for weeks. And I'm like, what on earth happened? don't tell me it was like that treatment I just did, because it was just 14 minutes. How is that possible? So I called him up and I said, I need to come back to your practice and I need to run that thing on me. Tell me when it's free. I'm just going to sit in the waiting room and I'm going to run it on myself. And then you just give me the bill. And he said, oh, no, I'm not going to charge you for that. That's just electricity, basically. I mean, it's just the Healy itself is frequency. So that doesn't cost me anything. And I'm like, well, thank you. He said, well, I'm not treating you. It's treating you. So, and I don't even know how it fully functions yet. And I'm like, I got so into this thing. So I sat down, I treated myself for an hour. And I think it was 2 days later, my hands were clear. So I ran skin on myself. So I ran skin and energy and back flowers. So hands clear 2 days later. So the symptoms were still there. So I still had rough skin and everything, and it was like blistering, like wounds closing, but it was closed, and it wasn't reactive anymore. So, and I'm like, this is incredible, but oh well, you never know. I went back 2 times to his practice. 10 days later, my hands were like this, like baby skin, absolutely fantastic skin, and um, I said, okay, I'm going to order one. I actually got one gifted to me, and I started working on myself, and I cleared up. My whole body cleared up, and my son cleared up. But not only that, but I had been. Am I talking too
No,
much?
no, no, God, I wanted to come in. I wanted to, it's a good segue. Go ahead.
So at that point, I was in a point in my life where I was going through a very massive court hearing session with it was a family thing. It was connected to custody. It was very, very dramatic. So I should have normally gotten into a worse state physically and with my well-being. At that point, it was so severe. I was having I'm a very stable person, but I was having panic attacks. I had this I had all these mental and these emotional issues, and that started to quiet down. I suddenly started to sleep. My skin was clear. I was calm with my nerves, and I suddenly felt like I think I can manage. I can actually manage. And that was an absolute miracle for me. And I'm like, "Oh, well, if this is what it can do, what else can it do?" And that's where I really started getting engaged with it. And I got so excited about this device. I literally pounced on everything that was moving. Like the neighbor's dog, the neighbor, my mom, my friends. I was like, "Do you have anything? Do you need help with anything?
What's
I'm
wrong
so
with you?
excited." What?
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong
I
with
have
you?
something. No.
Is anything wrong with you? Tell me. I need something that's wrong with you so I can try. I want to experiment. I want to see if this works with you the
Jump
same
into
way
the
it did.
animal. I mean, people know. I mean, we can. We'll obviously we're going to get back on track. You got so busy with the RFK campaign. I got busy with things like our tribe. Things we kind of disappeared. Right? It's like, where's Tanner and Sophia? But no, we're back, everyone. I'm here to tell everyone we're back. I'm revved up. We created the website that's right there. You can tell your friends and family those 2 short videos there. I think people would be cheating themselves if they didn't go to the website, scroll under my introduction video, and it says, what is the Healy? There's them talking about the Rife machine and the Tesla technology that has been kept from us. That's really all this is. And all that is really what are the keys, right? To the universe is energy of what is it? Energy, frequency, and vibration.
And yes, shout out to Molly, right?
Right, Molly, definitely Molly. If you love that website, I mean, she helped me. I made her insane. I said I can't field all the emails that I got from the show I did with Derek, just with my dad rolling by in the wheelchair and me talking about him, about how we're, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to get him out of the home. He was moving like, I mean, he gets in and out of, you got to see him. He gets in and out of the car. I'm saving all of this. He gets in and out of the car by himself. Today he was all excited. They did the physical therapy again today, which I manifested, by the way, which I want to tell that quick story a little later. I'll tell it right now. I was laying outside and trying to get into that zone, that Greg Braden's talking about, connecting the
Mhm.
brain and the heart, that
Mhm.
very grateful space, that space of me taking my power, of me seeing my life as if it's already done. Because that's the way we don't ask for things. That's the problem. That's what religion taught you. They robbed you, thinking, "Oh, pray for me. Oh, please pray for me. I don't have the power to do it myself. Let me put some money in the donation box and please just, oh God, help me." When God created us equal, That's the tragedy, the travesty that's been robbed from us. So I was outside tapping into my badass power, and I was concentrating on my dad. And I got into that space, and I know when I'm there because I weep, Sophia. I weep tears of joy seeing the finished product or the finished thing of what I'm looking for. And I've been able to do that 4 times, and every single time everything changed. I'll tell you, I was weeping. I was seeing my father walking, without the wheelchair and walking. And do you know, while I was doing that, my father, they incorporated his physical therapy again at the home that he hadn't had for months, because right at the tail end of that, the music got quiet. That's either a text or a phone call coming in. I looked, it was my dad. And it was at like 10:30 in the morning. It shouldn't have been a time where he would call me unless there's a problem. We speak early in the morning, at lunch, at dinner, or I'm there. And I got nervous and I answered the phone. He interrupted the tail end of my manifestation. Right? I was running the Healy on. I was running one of the chakras or something, and I was out there manifesting. And he called, and he was all revved up. And I said, "What?" And he said, "I just finished physical therapy." And I almost had a heart attack, because I said, I I did that. I manifested that in real time. As I started manifesting, they came in, because it was only 5 minutes that they made him stand up. He walks in the hall and everything. So, as Sophia, this is real. And you know that I did that the second time. He wound up in the hospital, which was a good thing. And I was concentrating on him again, getting out of the bed, walking around. I was seeing him healed, walking around. Do you know that when I finished that, he called me again like a minute later, and he said, physical therapy in the hospital just came. They had me standing up and moving around outside the bed. Could you believe it?
Wow.
Like, it's not a coincidence. So this helps me go get what's mine, what's rightfully mine, which I already have, is my power. So anyway, you treating the animals, you were treating horses, you treated your cat. There's animal programs, people, on this thing. This isn't a patch, this isn't a take a pill, this isn't, blow dry. I mean, I tried some of those things and they worked a little bit, but this is reading your aura. This is getting rid of your ancestral baggage that you have no idea that you're carrying. I had no idea, right? We just think, all right, I'm a guy, I'm pissed off about something. I'm upset with something. I don't like what happened to me in my past with my dad and the relationships and this, and I'll get over it. No, no, you don't get over it, because it affects your whole life. It affects your whole life. And now I have nothing but love for my father. Like, I'll break the news here. I'm actually looking into getting assistance with housing, and I
Mhm.
might be trying to get my own place. I'm still in the mystery machine and stuff, which I love, because I'm rich inside. I don't need the house on the water with the yacht anymore. I'm rich in here, right? And I'm more interested in helping people. um but I'm looking into a place because I'm looking to take my dad out of the home, and I think I will do that by Independence Day. I think my father's going to have his independence by Independence Day.
Wow.
And I've been able to do that with this device, and this device has helped me have full love for my father, because you couldn't have paid me, probably. Well, you could have before, when I cared about material things. You maybe could have paid me an amount of money to bring my father out and try to take care of him. But now I'm doing it with pure love, because this helped me change my life. It helped me get rid of my ancestral baggage. And I'm not even saying like I might make it happen. I will have my father. It's already done. So mote it be. My father will be living with me, and he will be walking around by Independence Day, and he will have his life back again, because this helped to save me, which helped me to save him, which is going to help me to save many, many people, like we already have.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say that we did it. I'm going to say that our creator gave us a job to do.
Mhm. Well, what many people, I think, can't appreciate without knowing it is the background of Healy. It's around since they've been doing research since the 90s, and they brought back the Rife machine based on that information and that technology. They developed the machine called Time Waver, and Time Waver is used by doctors around the world. Scientists, doctors, experts, engineers have
Right.
tested this and have developed this. That's why we have the Healy, because that was this machine has been so successful. And the genius, there's this famous quote by Albert Einstein. I forgot what it is, but it's basically pure intelligence is when you can simplify something, and they simplify the time waiver, so it still exists. Doctors are using it. You need to be a doctor though to use it, so you can actually tailor design programs that you can then transfer over into the Healy. But there's pre-installed programs on the Healy for let's say a healthy liver cell has a certain frequency. All you need to do is you need to realign the cell with its original blueprint frequency. And then it's like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to function. So when we get in our minds all railed up emotionally and mentally with trauma and negativity and accidents and sickness and all kinds of things impacting us, we get out of alignment in our frequencies.
I wanted
So
to
if you
show. Can you see? I mean, I don't want to get into the screen share right now. Can you see
Mhm.
the? Can you read the programs?
Yeah, it's kind of mirrored, but yes, beauty.
So I
Yeah.
my ear program
Mhm,
finished. So I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go into the mental balance one,
mhm,
right? Because I scanned my father the other day in person again. Just rescanned everything. So in
mhm,
here they have, this is in the mental balance, right? So in here, in that particular category, they have inner strength system, emotional well-being, feel good system, contentment system, um, contentment acute, inner unity,
mhm,
well-being soul, and mental balance acute. That's just in one of the program groups. So my father's was at 75%, right? Because over 50% is something to look into. So he was at 75 on his inner strength system. So I ran that in person with the coil, with the Tesla coil,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
And don't you know that night before he went to bed, the next morning, he was so upbeat. I mean, it's amazing, Sophia. This thing, I mean, it scans you and it tells you exactly. It's not like, oh, I mean, and I don't want to poo-poo on anything because these things all work in their certain arena. A patch,
Mhm.
the thing with the light. You know what I mean? That I don't know if it's putting a frequency like, and it's like a long hair dryer. It looks like a hair curler. You know, I put that on my leg a little bit in Arizona, but that's it. The thing can't read your body. It can't send frequency across the
It can't
world.
tell you what frequency you need because the
It
Healy
can't tell you
doesn't
what
tell you what
it
this.
can't tell you what frequency. It can't tell you. It can't. It doesn't know you. It can't read you. I mean, this thing is frightening. How it can read you and tell you what your present
But
state
look,
is.
Stephen, when you're treating something, it's really important, no matter what it is and how amazing these devices are. They work if you know what you're treating. If you don't know what the cause is, you're always going to be treating the symptom. You
Right.
need to treat the cause so that the symptom will go away. Otherwise, you're always treating the symptoms. And that's the thing. So I was treating this one guy with, he had a problem with his shoulder. The Healy scans him and says, you have some out of alignment in your brain, in your head. Whatever that was, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. He used it. His shoulder problem went away. He could go back to the gym. Until today, both of us don't know what it was, but it was something that was not in alignment. Was it the nerves? What is something in the brain? I have no idea.
Well,
But then the
that's
tools.
what everything is, right? I mean,
Yeah.
not getting into it, but the new natural cycle that gives you the time of the time zone that you're in, it
Mhm,
tells you that 2 hour window to run that natural cycle on a certain day with the natural cycle of the earth, right? And it
mhm,
works on the certain organs
mhm,
because as we take pharmaceuticals and we get screwed up with being poisoned, whether they're
mhm.
spraying us in the sky like a bug or putting it in our water or our toothpaste or our food, or you know, whatever, we're just off of alignment. And the screwed up calendar, by the way, which we won't get into, like we're supposed to be on a 13-month 28 consistent day calendar, right? That would go consistent with a woman and
Another thing out of
everything.
alignment.
Another thing out of alignment, but the natural cycle was is putting us back in alignment because the frequency and the Healy knows when the calendar is and knows what the natural alignment is, and
Mhm,
we have that natural cycle, right? So we've been putting ourselves another thing. So it's just, the thing is endless. It's like, I gotta say, there's no one can bring anything that compares This is basically like, this has the power of the universe in it. It's just connecting you to the power of the universe. It's not a patch. It's not a pill. It's not, it's not a natural herb. It's not a plant. All good things. But this, and in that one video, this, I'm actually running Schussler salts
Mhm.
on my father right now. This is the frequency. He was 5 miles away. It doesn't matter if he was in Russia right now. I'm in New York. He would be getting frequency, would be injecting through the field. He's getting, potassium chloride. He's getting everything that's scrolling in here is getting put into him frequency. This is the main way that I got my father off the meds. I run direct when I'm there, but it's not a lot. It's not a lot. This runs 8 hours a day. I have the second Healy. This runs 8 hours a day. I mix up all the programs. That's how I saved my father's life, and I got him off of medications, and it's ongoing. Now we're working on the heart. I'm going to touch on my father. I'm going to let you say a couple more things, and then I want to get into the detail of the medicines that I have my 88-year-old father off, and how I did it, and how the medical industry is fighting me along the way. Fighting me. So not only am I doing the treatment, I also have the corruption story of how corrupt these fuckers are. And I have them recorded. I have a lot of the stuff. I'm going to put this video out, and I expect a couple of people to wind up in prison. I'm going to make sure of it, because they deserve to be in prison. Because if they've been slowly murdering my father, how many other people in their 30, 40-year career have they murdered? How many?
I do want to say that the Healy is complementary to anything else that you're taking. And so we're experiencing better results, faster results in combination. And then, of course, the end result is, if that's medication, you getting off the medication. But let's just say, let's patches or vitamins, minerals. So the Healy enables the body to have the optimal intake. So if you are sometimes so de-energized, one of the side effects of the Healy when I started using it, which I thought was so ingenious, which is the difference between us as grown-ups and children. Why are they boing around and jump and around all day? Because they have so much energy. That's why when they hurt themselves, they heal so fast. So one of the side effects of the Healy is an uptick in energy level of your cell membrane. So that means that anything that you're going to do, it's almost like a full bank account. You don't have to think about how much money can you spend. Same thing with energy. You don't have to. You go through your day not thinking, God, if I do this, I'm going to need a long nap, or I can't do that because I have to do something else after that, and I won't have energy for it. So with the Healy, suddenly you notice a difference. It's like your battery fills up with energy, and you start to rejuvenate because the energy in your body helps everything kick into action. So your immune system is impaired if it doesn't have enough energy. What happens if your immune system is energized? It can go to work in all the places that it can't go to work because it's basically trying to figure out, trying to micromanage. I only have this amount of energy. What am I going to work on? What's the worst in the body? And the other things it's not going to manage because it just can't. So that's what I noticed. My lungs were impacted, which I didn't know. All kinds of funny things happened that improved my health. Also, I started napping. I stopped napping. I was napping every day. I was so exhausted because of the stress. So that's what happens when you use the Healy, which means that your cells, when you digest food, your digestive system can actually go and put all of the nutrients that you're collecting from the food into the cells and transport them wherever or transport garbage out of your cells, out of the
Right.
body. So that's really, really important
It's
to be.
amazing. That
Yeah.
that that short video, the one with Tesla in it, that's on
Mhm.
healingtheworld.love, that I have right on the homepage. Like, people they'd be insane not to, that
Yeah.
it explains the Healy, and it explains how you can send these nutrients and vitamins and minerals into your body through frequency. I mean, it's a fact. Like, how would I be helping my dad with frequency? This is
Yeah.
90% of how I
Yeah.
got my dad off of all of these meds. I'm sending him frequency right now what is it, a little after 8, he's in bed. He's sleeping. He doesn't even, and I'm sending him frequency. I tell him, and my dad doesn't even kind of comprehend, because he's a little out of it,
Mm.
and that's why everyone else, it happens so quickly, because they want this, I mean, they're not senile or have slight
Mm.
Parkinson's like my dad, and that's the next thing. We're working on the heart now. But I don't want to make this too long. You're going to appreciate this, Sophia, because we didn't even talk about this. So when I came home, when I was guided home to take care of him, armed with the Healy, he was on 100 milligrams 3 times a day of gabapentin. It's a pain medication. Okay, that's what he was on. He was on tramadol 50 milligrams every 6 hours, which is an opioid. Okay,
Oh my God.
and he was also taking Tylenol. I'm not sure if every night, but when it was just extra, he would just ask for Tylenol, right? So you got 300 milligrams at least of gabapentin 3 times. And I remember a long time ago when my dad had his apartment before he was falling, and the last time like split his skull open, and lucky he lived. It was like a crime scene in there. It was because he was nauseous, he was getting dizzy and faint. And now I know it's because they were over medicating him. They were murdering him. So he could have died back then from being over medicated. And I proved it, which will be at the end of the story. People have been waiting for this story about my father, so I just want to be in detail just on video here, but I've been chronicling it with video and recordings from the corrupt doctors that hung up on me, right? Anyway, so back Tylenol, so that was the pain. And then baclofen, 10 milligrams 2 times for pain. I'm not sure if those were all the same, but that was in the order when they printed it out for me.
Mm.
So just to be honest, I don't know if he was on the baclofen right at the same time. But the other ones I mentioned, he was on all at the same time. Gabapentin, tramadol, and the Tylenol. And he was getting a shot every time they would. I don't know if it's every month or 2 months, in right directly, because the main pain was up here. Okay, so I started working mainly on the pain with the frequency.
Mhm.
So for Reader's Digest version for this, I'm going to get into detail this on just a story of my dad. That's going to be a dedicated story, almost like a little documentary. But my dad has been off. It was the very first things I worked on. He hasn't been on pain medication for months, and the last time he got the shot was maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, but it never worked because he got it in February and he was in pain a week later. Like he had got it just he received it when I got home, and he was in pain right away. So he's good. I got him moving around, getting up. He's off of all of his pain medications, right? So you would say, wow, that's a major victory right there just in itself, isn't it? Because my dad early on, when he would come out real in the wheelchair, he was almost drooling on himself. He was so over medicated. And I can see the differences now because I have the videos and I have the photos. He's spunky, he's talking, we're engaging in conversation. All I could get was like, yeah, yeah, it was just melancholy, right?
Mhm.
So that was already a major victory. Thank you, Healy, for helping
Mhm.
my dad tap into his power, right? Doesn't end there. He was on metformin, which they call pre-diabetes, 500 milligrams twice a day, morning and night, okay, for diabetes. And Jardians, 25 milligrams 1 time a day. And I always, even before I left on my journey a long time ago, I'm like, how did he become diabetic? I don't even remember what the hell's going on, right? I always had a question in my mind. So at the same time, because I met with the doctor right in there, I says, now they phased him off the pain meds, right? They phased him off them over like a 2 week period. And he immediately stopped. I'm going to jump around because there's a lot of meds here. He was on amlodipine, which is for blood pressure. And I don't know what told me. I didn't even know fully about the amlodipine at the time, but something told me, let's stop this amlodipine too. So the doctor actually cut that right out just in a few days. So the amlodipine and the pain meds were starting to be phased out, and he was taking him off the amlodipine, which I'm going to jump around here, which I find out because my dad wound up in the hospital. I'm going to tell you why, which was a blessing. I think I manifested that. So anyway, stop the amlodipine. We're getting him off all of the pain meds. I'm telling him we're stopping. We stopped Jardians, dead stop Jardians right after that meeting. Dead stopped it, and we're phasing off the pain meds. and he's phasing him off of the metformin. Like 2 weeks later, we meet, and now we're phasing off the metformin. So he's off all the pain meds. He's off Jardians, which is for diabetes, and now we're phasing off the metformin. Now he wasn't getting insulin at the home because supposedly these were keeping his sugar levels down, right? So I did when I joked around and I made myself social media doctor, Dr. Tenner. I actually did become, I actually almost did become a doctor. I know more than some of the doctors because I'm actually saving my father, and he's great, right? So we got that. Okay, now he was taking furosemide, which is like a Lasix for him to pee. For the longest time, for well over a decade, my father's legs got huge. He's retaining water. They're saying he has congestive heart failure, right? So for that, forever, I remember we used to divide his meds up for him a long time ago. He was on forever the gabapentin, the metformin, the Jardiance, the amlodipine, Eliquis, which is a blood thinner. He was on that, and he was on Corvedalol and Coreg. They're both the same. One's 12.5 milligram, one's 25 milligram. They put them both together, right, to make the 37, whatever it is here. So that's 2 times a day. Now, as I was treating him in the home and we got him off the pain meds, the frequency is getting his organs and things working again, obviously, right? His cells, everything's regenerating because now he's starting to get very dizzy at night and he's waking up, and then they throw another medication in. Oh, you're dizzy, let's give you a medication because you're dizzy so you can go back to sleep. So I had to intervene in that, and I had to, because the doctors wouldn't change anything anymore. His heart doctor, which I don't mind saying his name because he's a real prick, and he hung up on me, and I have it recorded, and he's going to prison.
I heard that.
I sent you that. I sent you that
Mhm.
recording. Is that psychotic?
Incredible.
It's horrible.
It's like I don't think he knew, he had no idea what to say, because I don't even think these are not doctors anymore. They're like walking libraries of
Yeah.
what they were indoctrinated with.
I said, you heard it, right? I said, we're adjusting things. We got him off his diabetes, his pain meds, and we want to talk about the heart med and the Eliquis, because I started taking my dad off of the Eliquis, and he started to not be nauseous at night, right? And I said, please don't take the nauseous medicine. Do everything you can, fan yourself, breathe, work through it. This has been a challenge, and he stopped. And the Eliquis got rid of the blood thinner, was getting rid of, that feeling. I'm just going to assume, because after 3 days of me cutting it out, he wasn't nauseous, he wasn't dizzy anymore at night, right? So now the doctor just happened to be making his rounds that day. He's there like once a month, the heart doctor, thank God, thank you for coming around once a month, prick. So he happens to be there that day, and I get on the phone with him, and I'm telling him we're getting him off the meds. We just want to look at things. He's getting dizzy, and that doesn't, the main side effect is bleeding. And right online, I did snapshots of this, of all the companies. The first one listed is like nausea and dizziness on the Eliquis, and this guy's telling me it's not a side effect. It's the main one is bleeding. I'm like, oh, great, bleeding. Thank God he's not bleeding. But I'm like, we want to look at these, and he's like, the order stands. You heard it right, like a
Yeah, he was angry.
Like Hitler. Like, wait a minute, we're discussing something with
Yeah,
you.
how dare you ask questions?
You couldn't even, right? And I have that recording, so people don't know I'm crazy.
Mhm.
That's coming out in
Yep.
the documentary. He'll probably be in prison beforehand. So anyway, so he didn't do that, right? So now the last medicines that he's on is the Coreg, the Corvedalol, which is the beta blocker, which is slowing his heart down. Slowing his heart down. Okay, so this doesn't make sense to me when there's fluid building up, and now you're slowing the heart down so it can pump better, so it's not going fast. But maybe we're slowing it down too much, and this is
Mhm.
what I want to talk to the heart doctor about. Can we adjust this? And he's in a home, they check his vitals all the time. What better way to adjust things when we could look at, and they weigh him, and if he's going to retain more water, we'll know. Wouldn't hear it. So you know what I do? I'm a maniac. I prayed, manifested, and I said, "Fuck this." I started stopping the Coreg and his heart meds, the Eliquis, and the piston medication. I stopped it like a maniac, and I'm here. It's truth and from the heart here. Almost dead stopped. Fuck it. I phased off once for 2 days, and then I stopped it. But he was already, his legs, I already have the videos from when I first got there, swollen, like his legs would leak the fluid, open sores, because his
Wow.
feet, he couldn't wear shoes. Like we had shoes that just folded over with a Velcro. He hasn't worn shoes in over 2 years, right? His legs were horrible. So this is a few months now. So now I'm like, I'm manifesting. I'm like, God, I'm doing it. I'm taking him off this shit. I stop it like a lunatic. And I have an argument with him on the phone one morning. I actually told him what my mother told me. I'm being honest with people. I want people to see me raw. I'm Tanner. I'm truth and from the heart. And I said, you know what your wife told me on her deathbed? The last thing she said to me, she said to take care of your father. He never knew that. And I said, you got to work with me because he wasn't doing something and I'm trying to keep him going. I got him so flustered that day and 2 days off the heart med that I got him all worked up. He wound up in the hospital that day. And I'm telling everyone. So we get him there. It was a godsend. So he gets the Lasix, right, which makes him pee. He doesn't sleep. He's up every half hour on this piss medication. It's terrible. I have to I'm now I'm concentrating on the heart. So when I go there, I run circulation, I run the heart, I run the kidneys and the liver, right? Just, I run these direct, right? And I'm gonna have him off of all of these medications. I'm just letting everyone know my goal was to have my father off of every medication, and I am. But I'm being honest, I'm telling you what happened. So I land him, I get him all mentally, I got him, he can't breathe, they get him in the hospital. He was already in that state. They had already worked his heart to the point of exhaustion over the years because they were over medicating him, which was proven in the hospital. This is the miracle that I manifested here. This gets even better, everyone. Don't go anywhere. So he gets in the hospital. They got him on the oxygen, on the mask with the straps, right? They're helping him breathe. They're checking everything. They put intravenous Lasix, which is going to work a little better. And he has a catheter in now. So he at least gets to lay in bed. He wound up there like 5 or 6 days. They kept him. Because when one day he was going to leave, he got like dizzy because they started all the medications again, Sophia, that were his original orders. So I said, I can't fight so much the hospital, right, and deny medications when he's in the hospital. I have to let this ride, and I'll start over again because they already know what I cut out at the home, right? So I was keeping my calm. I wanted to lose my shit that I'm like, what is he taking? I was there. Well, oh, they were giving him this and this, and they actually started to give him insulin shots, which made me lose my fucking mind because he never took insulin. So I was like, all right, God, I'm going to remain calm. I'm going to get this all under control again. And I did. So the doctor, the 11th hour, when he was going to go home, he stays, and they're all corrupt. The next day, my father's doctor shows up that he hasn't had for a decade. I thought he retired. He just left that practice. And here he shows up, God sent. I want people to hear this. You need to hear this. My dad's doctor that my dad loved. I remembered him too when I got to meet him again. I'm like, "Oh, Dr. Hamid, God sent you." He loved my father. He arranged the meds. He took my father off the Coreg and the Carvedilol, which he was being over medicated on, and he put him on a new one, metropolol, which is the same kind of heart beta blocker thing, 12.5 milligram, the lowest dose. So we dropped 25 milligrams of the thing that was slowly killing him, gone. And he's on this, which I will get him off, but I trust the doctor to have him on this for a few weeks as we get him stable again in the home. And I dropped out the insulin, like his sugar is like slightly high, but I have him deny the insulin every time. Like at 250, his range is like 250 in the evening before dinner. If it's like 253, they want to jab you. It's like, no, let's not, three, and I'm like, no, no. If it's 280, you know what I mean? Like they're killing us. They're just killing us, right? So he's been off the insulin. He denies it. He knows what range. So we got him off of that. He's back at the home about a week. Got him off that. They put him back on the Jardiance. The doctor said, please put him on the Jardiance. It helps the heart a little bit too. It's only 25 milligram. They put him back on the amlodipine, which was the blood pressure medication in the hospital. That's what had him dizzy the last day, dropped his pressure. And the doctor told me that that's the main medication that will make you actually retain fluid. Okay, so let's take this blood pressure medication that's going to make you retain fluid. And now let's give you this medication that's going to make you piss every half hour. And let's give you this medication when you're over medicated that makes you dizzy. So let's give you this one now. Let's throw this one
Like
in.
sending you in this carousel of
It's
craziness.
I mean, I could fucking I could strangle these people, okay? So I'm remaining calm and I'm on high alert in the home. Like they snap to attention when I'm there. They know I'm not screwing around and they know I know what I'm talking about. And my father, when he was in the hospital, lost 14 pounds of fluid.
Wow.
I bought him new sneakers, Sophia. I put new sneaker. He wore sneakers back to the home. He hasn't been able to put shoes on for 2 years. Okay? It was amazing. I could cry. Do you know how good he feels wearing sneakers? And my father had the sexiest legs growing up at the beach. It used to be embarrassing, wear the bikini thing and show off his tan. So proud of his legs. They were like tree trunks for over a decade because they were slowly murdering him. Dr. Tenner, social media doctor, is manifesting with the help of healing. And I'm manifesting this and we're bringing my father back. So my father legs, he's wearing shoes now. They weigh him every morning. He actually dropped another pound. And I already believe that I'm gonna do every other day on the piss medication because they weigh him, right? And if he starts to, as I really get that heart pumping and going, because all I got to do is get the frequency and just get his heart back in great shape, which I know that I am. I saved it for last. I did strategically save this for last. So all of those meds are gone. He's on 25 milligram right now of Jardiance, which I'm probably going to cut out next week and then see if the sugar moves. If it doesn't, I'll have him off Jardiance again because I did. I had him off of metformin and Jardiance and his sugar was stable. You see? So I'm working with his doctor Hamid, who came in, who really cares about him, and he's not trying the corruption, but he did drop the meds down. You see, he got rid of those two corrupt meds, the Coreg and the Carvedilol, and the amlodipine. And do you know what they did at the home? I have to add this. So we go back to the hospital. He gets back there about 3 in the afternoon. I'm there. I'm leaving for the night. God told me, check with the nurse that's rolling around. They just know the orders. They got the thing, open your mouth. Here's the meds. Here's what the computer says. So I go and check with the guy. God told me just to check because I brought the new orders back to the home from the hospital of his meds. Do you know that the fuckers, like the wheelchair wheels weren't even cold yet? When he got back there, someone added the amlodipine back into his meds for the morning. Could you believe these fuckers? The main one that was having him retain and making him dizzy. Do you know that someone took it to add that back in? And they told me that. I said, what? So I had to call the supervisor. I flipped out. I recorded that. And she told me that there's a hierarchy. Like, it doesn't matter that he was in the hospital and they, switch these things, right? And got things somewhat stable. He's at the home now. It doesn't matter. We're the boss. So without even knowing what the fuck is going on, he's not even back here 2 hours. We're just gonna add like that one back in. So some corrupt fucker added the main medicine that was slowly murdering my father. They added it back in the computer. And if I didn't check, my father would have got it in the morning. And if I didn't
What?
check, he would have got it the next morning. He would have got it every morning. My father would be back on the medicine, one of the main three murdering medicines
What
that was
is
killing my
happening,
father.
Stephen, with all of the people who don't have family members like you?
There's people dying all over the place. This is frightening to me that God sent me to do this, not only to save him, but to actually also expose the
Wow.
level with my own personal, not
Mm,
not just hearsay, what we know,
yeah.
your loved one went in with fake COVID. They gave him remdesivir, which screws him up, fills him up, put him on the respirator, and 95% of the people die. No, we all know that. I'm having my own personal experience with the corruption in the medical industry while I save my father. That's why someone told me, very important to me, very biblical in this movement. They said to me, I'm probably going to have to rip my father out of the home. And I thought it would be having to do with the financial collapse.
Mhm.
Because just to touch on that, when the financial uh, crash comes and the dollar disappears, all programs, all federal, state funded shit, no workers get paid anymore. What's going to happen to all of these poor people in these homes that are on programs and Medicaid? They're not funded anymore. Like, this collapse isn't just like, oh, I lost my savings account and people's lives are going to change, their health, their medical, their housing. So I thought I was going to have to save my father, and God was having me get him healthy, so when the financial crash came and the home closes, I can care for my dad. I'll have him at a level where, he's independent, right?
Mhm.
I thought it was from that. No, no, God and that person, it's for this. It's for this fucking corruption, because I'm gonna wind up murdering someone over there if they try to fuck with me again and throw my father on a medication that we took off, you know what I mean, from his original doctor that was God sent at the 11th hour. The 11th hour, after a week, I won't say his name, beautiful doctor, he showed up at the 11th hour. So all of this shit is down to 25 of the Jardians, which I'm going to have off by next week, and just 12.5 of the heart med, the blood thinner,
Mhm.
and the pissing medication, which is 4 meds from this whole mess.
Mhm.
And I'm going to have him off 1 or 2 more probably by next week. I'm chronicling this story. It's going to be a mini documentary. But what is happening to all the people that don't have someone to advocate for them? Even if you have someone to advocate for you, even if a family member is going to visit their family member in the home, do they know to ask the questions that I asked? Do they know to learn what these things are doing? Do they know to ask them to try to adjust them, and let's see how no. How many people are doing what I'm doing?
Mhm.
So what's happening to these people? You don't have to just get hooked up to a respirator to be murdered with COVID. You can get murdered like this over the last 10 years. You know, the COVID thing took care of you really swift, or
Mhm.
the thingy, right? This is just a slow death as we rob you blind, right? So the home wants to throw it out of the pill on, right? It probably cost them 5 cents, and they're going to bill the state probably $100 for that pill, right? So some shithead in the office is like, well, we got to keep them on shit. We got to keep the bill up here, right? We don't care if they're murdering them. We got to jack the bill. This is why this guy is going to show up and take care of business. Justice is coming. And you can get one of these beauties at TennerTalk.com. These are my designs. Anyway, you got to help me. Maybe I gotta sell some merch. I'm looking into an apartment or something here soon, because I have to do a jailbreak. I'm just gonna wind up going over there, Sophia, the one day when I sign him to go
Mhm.
out for like lunch, and he's not going back. I'm just gonna bring him to the house, and I'll just go back with a few boxes, because he doesn't have much in the room, and I'll just take the pictures down and say, yeah, see you later, guy. I could care less. See you later.
Well, I remember something. I remember my mother was because her sister is also in a home, and then she had this big fight with somebody at the home. I remember that one thing where she said, "How on earth could you put her into this other, like it was another part of the home that was
Right. They said they
basically."
made her have dementia, and they made her
Yes,
feeble and put her.
exactly, and she said she doesn't have dementia. How do you think how on earth did you diagnose her with dementia?
It's
She doesn't have it.
probably the bed up the
They
hole
couldn't
that we have here
answer.
is probably 5,000 more a month if you're dementia. If you're over here and you just have heart disease, it's maybe 5,000 a month. If you're over in this wing with dementia, it's maybe 6,000 a
They
month.
get
It's
more
all
money.
it's all corruption. It's all
Yep.
money. Look, there's people that got their medical indoctrination that think they're actually helping people. Like, a lot, all due respect for the people and I will say, he's at Golden Hill. Most of these nurses, most of these people, their heart is in the right place. They're just operating on their education. I mean, their indoctrination, because they don't know that they're feeding murder. They don't know that they're feeding murder to people. They don't know. But I got to tell you, this is your warning. You're being put on notice tonight. Jesus and justice for all, motherfuckers, okay? If you know what you're doing, if you know what you're doing, you see that noose? That'll be one of your choices. If you know that you are slowly murdering people with this stuff, if you know, your choice is going to be a noose, probably the poison that you've been given. Maybe you'll go out that way, or one of these to the skull. That's going to be your choice if you know what you're doing. And I guarantee it. Hear my words right now. Satan, Jesus, and justice for all. And if you don't know, it's time to start learning, because clearly the guy without the medical degree is proving what's going on. So if you're in the medical industry, I beg you to start learning the truth, because you didn't get an education. You got an indoctrination. And I'm proving it. The guy right here.
That was a good one.
I
Not an
want to I want
education,
to
but an
close out of here, Sophia. Unless you have a bombshell for us. That's it. I want to tell people, please get your ass over right now to healingtheworld.love. Is your life, you being pain free, you getting a good night's sleep, you doing what I'm doing for my 88-year-old father? Is it worth 10 minutes of your time to go to that website and watch 2 videos to learn a little bit more about this thing, and then contact us? And please, if you're interested in moving forward, which you can start very small, don't get scared by the prices in there. They have financing, and you can use this thing for 2 weeks free and send it back. You're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing your family member a disservice that you might be thinking about right now that you would like to help. You may be perfect, and good for you. God bless. Because I'm perfect, except for the little ear thing I got going on that I ran right now, right? Knock on wood.
not
But
easy being perfect, Stephen,
oh,
is
I'm
it?
not. I'm not. That's not. I meant health wise. I'm in the best shape. I'm going to be 55, and I feel so good mentally and physically right now. And it's not me. It's my
I'm
power.
joking.
It's
I'm
my
just saying it
power.
ain't
No,
easy being
I know
perfect.
you're kidding, but I have to tell that to people. It's my power that this is helping me tap into. I'm taking my power back. I'm taking my power back. I'm proving it. I'm taking my father's power back. I'm helping my father take his power back. He doesn't even fully know how to take his power back yet. I'm working with him. I'm getting him in the frame of mind. He's learning. And we've done this without my father so much even comprehending what's going on. Could you imagine when I really get him to comprehend on the tail end of this? This is going to start a fire, this piece of paper. There's no more meds. There's no more meds. We don't need them. We don't need them. So I beg you to go to healingtheworld.love, watch the 2 videos, and if you want to move forward, we have so many amazing people. Let us guide you through the process. We've learned so much about this thing. There's so many programs. You don't need them all. You don't need them all. Maybe you do,
No,
or maybe you just want to be a professional and help people, and and you want to, like many people did. But please go there and ask questions. It's free to just watch something and learn. All right? Please. And you could try the thing for 2 weeks and send it back. But I'm letting you know you're not. You're not going to
so
do it.
2 weeks, 10 days is what it took for me to get rid of all of my skin problems, and then all of the rest started.
Unbelievable. And I ask people on there, actually, I think there's a link to Tenor Talk or TennerTalk.com. If you're not following me on all of my social media, please go to my homepage, scroll down, my Rumble, my TikTok, my Telegrams, because we're going to start Frequency Friday. God has told me, but the time is now. I think this Friday is going to be the first one. I'm going to do a test Frequency Friday, whether you have this or not. Whoever has the Heelys, they'll put their frequency on of what they want to work with. We'll play the music, and I will speak like Greg Braden, and I'm going to bring people. I know that God wants me to do this, Sophia. I'm so excited. I've been thinking about this for 2 months. The time is now because nothing can stop what is coming. And I am going to help people. I'm going to talk to people during our Frequency Friday, and I'm going to bring them and I'm going to connect them with their power, and I'm going to help them manifest their healing, their 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 worries, whatever. I'm going to help them make that shit go away cuz I'm making mine go away. I'm going to help them work on. They should start thinking about the most important thing that they want to work on right now. They should get excited and they should hook up with me on Tenor Talk. Make sure they're following so they get the notice.
Yep.
And we figure out where we're going to do it. I might want to do it on Telegram first, just without video, just for a test. But please, everyone, for you, for me, honestly, I want to say I don't care, but I do care. That's why I'm doing this. But I normally would say I don't care. Like, if you want to remain in pain, if you don't want to take your power back, it's free will. That's your prerogative. But you heard the story here. You heard what's going on with my 88-year-old dad, who was just looked like he was basically had like 6 months to live when I first came home, and now he's bopping around. I take him out for lunch. He had his first slice of pizza in 2 years, like real slice of pizza at our favorite place. You know what I mean? And he was like, it looked like, literally, I don't mind saying this, he looked like he had an orgasm. And when we got back to the home the next day, he was saying, I said, "What'd you have for dinner?" He goes, "Not that pizza," I mean, so
Look at your girlfriend.
I'm giving him his life back. I'm not, he's taking, I'm helping him to take his power and his life back. And it's so exciting. Guys, please, for you, not for me. I don't care to a certain level. It's free will. Go to healingtheworld.love. We put the website together because I got so many inquiries when they watched the video with Derek Johnson. I couldn't answer all the emails. So Molly, who's a blessing, if you need any web work, send me an email. The email address is on the website, and I'll hook you up with Molly. Actually, I think at the bottom of the website you can click on her, web girl, web design girl. Thank you, Molly. You rock.
Thanks,
Sophia,
Molly.
you rock.
You do too.
Well,
You
thank
help
you.
so many people, and I know the women that surround you, that know you. Like, nobody with 10 horses could tear them from you. Like, you are such a rock. You've been a rock for me. You've been a rock for so many other women that I know, and they are so grateful to have you in their life, and so am I.
You're gonna make me cry just as I close the video. That's what people get left with. Thank you. It means so much to me. I just asked the guy, what do you want me to do? He saved my life September 10th, 2021, and I never looked back. He sent me out on a mission that I wouldn't change a thing. I've met the best of everyone. Here you are. He put the people together. He put the tribe together. I know the most incredible badass women. Some of them changed their lives. Some of them just following my journey. But everyone that we have that got involved with this are helping other people. They literally change their lives. I just added Tina's testimonial to healingtheworld.love. She got rid of her anxiety, which, her
Yeah.
story. We talked about it earlier. I just remembered, I'm like, send me your video. I have to put it on the website. But, no, thank you so much. I love everyone. Please do yourselves a favor. It's free. Go learn something. And if you think you want to get started on the bare minimum there, let us help you. Let the tribe, all of these amazing, beautiful women, Sophia, myself, we'll spread you around. If you want questions answered and you want to get started at the bare minimum, getting rid of your pain and sleeping, and it never ends. It's everything. This thing will scan you and it will tell you what's going on, even when it doesn't make sense. Just do it and you get better. Right, Sophia?
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
yes.
Thank you, everybody. And are you got shows on the grassroots, right? You're
Yes.
you missed
Next
today
Monday
because
again.
I think you missed today, maybe, right? It was
Yes.
chaos, right? So I think they're gonna forgive you because you're incredible. You helped with so many things
I
behind the
hope it's the
scenes.
only time this ever happens.
It's the only time, yeah.
It's be careful what you ask for, and I signed up to support Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to become president. So good
You
luck
are. And
with
it
my
actually
calendar.
works. Don't get triggered, everyone. It's not Democrat, Republican, it's just good people, and it works really good
Heal
with
the
the tribe.
divide.
It's healing. It's healing the divide, and it's all
Yeah.
going to work out in the end. Trust the plan. Trust the plan. Thank you for your hard work, Sophia. Thank you for
Thank
everything.
you.
Thank you for being responsible for us being here today. It's all your fault. Thank you, everyone. We
Yay.
love you. You've been watching live on the Grassroots Warrior Network. It's always going to be free, but if you feel that you want to donate something to the network, the links should be under there in the final video. And thank you for following me over the years and being a part of my tribe and Tenor Talk. And please visit Tenor Talk, and I have all my other platforms, and please hook up with me. And please visit healingtheworld.love and spend 10 minutes and watch those 2 videos on the homepage and learn a little bit more about how this can help you tap into your power and change you and your family and your friends' lives. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon. We'll see you next Monday at 8 on the Grassroots Warrior Network.
Bye.